So hey guys, today I am coming to you, sorry about the music, with a talk about ego and the meaning of life, why we are here, and everything like that. So I'm going to start with what is the ego? What is ego? Ego, and remember, I'm talking about my experience, so if you have a different experience, by all means, that's your experience, that is not mine. So you may disagree with what I have to say, but in my experience, ego is the attachment to the third dimension and attachment to everything physical and everything in the third dimension. So what does this look like? So attachment to what I look like, what society thinks you should look like in a third dimensional sense. And ego is feeding your happiness by pursuing all these different things that aren't going to fulfill your life. Like money is like the biggest thing of all. It's the root. People say it's the root of all evil, because evil is ego. Evil, in a sense, or evil is in the end ego. Any demon is your ego acting in yourself or in other people, because ego is when you're driven by ego, you're driven by selfish motives, and you're driven by a selfish life where the only thing that matters is you, and the only thing that's going to matter is what you have in life. And it's all fucking bullshit. It is, oh, if I buy this new car, oh, I'm going to be happy. That's going to make me happy. And then next thing you know, you're miserable again because you don't have the next new thing. So then you buy a phone and you're like, oh yeah, this phone's great. And then you buy a house and you're like, oh, this house isn't good enough, so I'm going to buy another house, and this house is going to make me happy. And it's all bullshit, because in the end, you're just chasing after the next best thing that this life tells you you need to have by commercials, ads, and all this stuff that gets jammed down your throat on a daily basis. And it's so hard not to get sucked into it, because it's what everyone is sucked into. This third dimensional living is, killing your soul, or like not killing it, but holding it back and tucking it down in. And what matters is like what your soul needs, what your inner child needs, what your heart truly desires, that true happiness, not the fucking newest thing that's out on the market that you need to buy today, or not making $1 million in your lifetime, or becoming a millionaire and everything's going to be all right when I have all this money. And you hear millionaires and people with money all the time saying, oh, I'm not happy. I have all this money and I have everything at my hands, but why am I not happy? And then you see like movie stars start coming out and talking about all these things about, I would be happy if I had $1 tomorrow, because they have found spiritual freedom and they can live in the fourth and fifth and in the third and be happy because their souls are fulfilled off of unselfish needs and unselfish things. Like, what is the meaning of life? The meaning of life is uplifting someone. A life of service is the meaning of life. A life of helping somebody makes your life complete. And it can be as small as saying hello to somebody you don't normally say hi to, or holding a door for someone, or helping somebody across the street, or picking up somebody's wallet and handing it to them because they just dropped it. Things like that. Being of service to the next person, and being of service to everything and anyone in your life at any given time, doing the next right thing, is what will lead to a fulfilled life. Not chasing after money, not doing any of that. Life is more than just the fucking next new house or the next new iPhone or any of that, because if that's what life is about, what was life about when none of that was there? What did they do? They sought after the divine. They sought after the fourth and fifth dimension, and they didn't give a fuck about, the next new iPhone, because it wasn't there. And if it wasn't there, if everything was gone like that, and we were secluded back to times like that, life would be a beautiful place. And it brings into this video I watched the other night, and I can't remember the word he used, but he was talking about people connecting on more of a level than, hi, how are you doing? It's more of, talking about things that matter, like what makes you scared? What's your biggest fears? And what's your deepest desires and things like that. And people don't talk about things like that because people get scared. People get scared about these things, and they don't want that connection with other people because they think that they are, their ego gets so big that if they are naked like this in front of somebody else, that they're going to judge them, and that they're going to think less of them, and that's your ego driving you to, stay enclosed in yourself and stay obsessed with yourself. And the modern world like pushes for that, because I don't even know why they push for that, but that's just bullshit to me. But having these interconnections with all these people and living a selfless lifestyle is the most fulfilling thing that you can do possibly in your life, because when you're living a selfish lifestyle, you're limiting yourself to everything that's around you. You're limiting yourself to that new car. You're limiting yourself to, money's going to make me happy. And you're limiting yourself to all these physical things that are really in essence all bullshit, because it goes back to what I said before. When we didn't have these things, when cars weren't around, when houses weren't around, and they lived in teepee huts and they had fire dances and all that, their happiness was because they were all connected, and there was no lying, there was all truth, and everyone knew everything about everyone. And there was no need for secrecy, because there was no self-driven egos. There was no like gossip or anything like that. Everyone just loved each other, and that is where life should be, is everyone loving each other and pushing for doing the next right thing in their life for the next right person, or the next person in general, the next anything. Just being of service and loving without any strings attached. Like gossip is such bullshit. People are like, oh, did you see her hair? Oh, did you see her shirt? And stuff like that. Like, no, that's bullshit. Like, all that is bullshit. What does that matter in the end? What do you take with you when you die? Do you take that car? Do you take your money? Do you take your house? No, none of that comes with you. None of that stays with you. What do you have? You have your consciousness. You don't have this body. And that's what the last talk was about, is I'm not this body, because this body is temporary, and this third dimensional world we're living in is all temporary. The only thing we get to take on is our experience, and everything that we do in this life, and everything that we see, and every little thing that goes through our eyes and gets stored into our soul, and every little moment that we do, doing whatever it is that we do, should not be wasted. You do not sit at home and chase after these dreams and expect to live a fulfilled lifestyle, because none of that comes with you when you die, and the only thing that comes with you is experience. So the meaning of life, in my eyes, is helping somebody, being of service, and experiencing the world, getting what you can out of this third dimension. Like the fucking moon right now is fucking beautiful. It's orange, and it's the size of a quarter. If you hold it up to your eye like this close, it's massive, and it's fucking gorgeous. And being present with that, being present with everything around you, and seeing the beauty in everything, and absolutely everything. And the death of the ego is such a beautiful thing. I just went on this hike by myself up this mountain, Mount Marcy, and ego was driving me up until I started hiking the mountain, and I could feel it just go away little by little by little by little. And by the time I reached the top, I took a video and I posted it on Facebook, and I'm like, I've made it. But that's all I wanted to say, because the only thing that mattered is that I was there, and my ego wasn't. I was there and present for the whole thing, and I was able to see the beauty in everything. And it was a rainy day. There was no view. And once I was able to realize that the beauty of it, wasn't in that I just hiked this mountain and got to the top, and now I get to see this beautiful view. The beauty in it was the deterioration of my ego, in the losing of all these attachments that I had to these things in this third world, or third dimensional world that we have, and just being at peace with the fact that I am me, and I am this consciousness, and I am here right now. And it didn't matter whether the clouds cleared or not, and it didn't matter that I just climbed this mountain, and which is an amazing thing to experience, but the real experience was me losing that fucking attachment I had, and losing that grip that drove me, that all this third dimensional bullshit matters. And really it doesn't in the end, because in the end what I get to take home is my experience, and what I get to take with me On to the next world is my consciousness and my memories. And that's all we get, and that's all we have. So grab life. Grab a hold. You know, I said this thing to my friend one time. You can do, what was it? What was the exact quote? You can do everything, but you don't have to do anything. And there's so much to take from that, you know, and that was just my higher power inspiring me to say that, because I can't even remember what we were talking about, but it fit so perfectly, and the conversation came to an abrupt stop, and we both connected right there at that moment, and we were like, wow, like that phrase right there, you can do everything, but you don't have to do anything, you know? So take life. Find what makes your heart beat. Climb that mountain. Find yourself and then find others. You know, find God, find yourself, then find others. That is what the meaning of life is. Lose your ego. Fuck the third dimension. You know, fuck these fucking cars and phones and everything. Fuck all that shit. It doesn't matter. Because in the end, your experience, love, and everything like that is the only thing that matters, and everything physical is not anything you should worry about, you know. So take life by the hand, grip it, you know, run with it, do everything that makes your heart beat, and, you know, love, because guess what, love is in your heart, you know, and that will make your heart beat if nothing else. And I know it does for me on a regular basis. And life is so beautiful just to sit here and be obsessed with fucking money and all this other garbage. Just fucking live life. Help people. You know? Experience life for what life is, not for what this world wants you to believe it is. And that's all I got. I love you all. Have a good night.